from Fox 5 News. In this together, staying connected through coronavirus. A look at how you can work smarter from home, cut your own hair, see the best parts of the city from your couch, and celebrate in new and unique ways, all while keeping your family safe.
Hi there, I'm Ryan Christopher. And as challenging as this time has been for all of us, we've really seen some beautiful acts of kindness and hope in the tri-state. We'll be sharing some of those stories here with you shortly. But first, as we've been quarantining, beyond binge-watching shows and Zooming friends, you're probably trying to figure out how to give yourself a haircut without looking like Joe Exotic. But not to worry, here are some tips for haircuts at home. So let's start with the fellas.
So the few things that you need in order to do an at-home clipper haircut is you need clippers. You need guards. This is really important when cutting hair because it gives you the ability to not cut too much.
Kristen Serafino is a celebrity stylist for some of Hollywood's biggest stars, but now she's lending her expertise virtually to coach people through haircuts at home. She recommends always cutting clean, dry hair.
So you want to take the guard, put it up against the head, and whatever hair comes out, that's the length that's going to come off. So if it looks like it's too much, then use a bigger guard.
Next step, section the hair to easily control desired length between the top, sides, and back.
You want to think of it as small sections versus going straight up the hair. So you want to take little straight up, and then afterwards what happens is the guard can create lines in the hair. So over the same section, make little V's. So you go up and then little V's over the same section, and that will eliminate any lines that the guard creates.
And if you're looking to trim the top, Kristen recommends cutting at an angle.
So hopefully you have the confidence to try it out in your own home. Well, someone else do it for you, of course. Doesn't look too shabby, right? Let's check in with Bianca Peters from Good Day Wake Up to see what she's got for the ladies. What do you got, Bianca?
Hey, Ryan. So I got to chat with one of NYC's top hair colorists, Carlina Ortega. She works at Rita's Salon Salon here in the city, and she's saying do not let that desperation lead you to box dye. She's suggesting try some of these DIY treatments at home first.
I would recommend using a hair concealer, a root concealer. I like Rita Hazan's root concealer. They come in about 5 different colors. It'll fold you over. You apply it. You can apply it at your hairline, your part, and they're temporary. It's easy to wash off.
And if your hair color looks a little dull, try a gloss for your specific hair color.
So you put it on in between your shampoo and conditioner, and it'll make it nice and shiny and vibrant. Especially those blondes who can't get their highlights done.
And Carlina said show your hair some love during quarantine with these avocados.
Take a whole avocado, a ripe avocado, add some olive oil, maybe a little bit of yogurt, blend it in, make it nice and smooth, put it all over your hair, start on your ends or wherever it's the most dry, work your way up, leave it in for about an hour. After that, rinse, shampoo, condition, and your hair is going to feel totally silky, totally amazing.
All right, well, through the outbreak, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has really catapulted to the national stage for his leadership and his daily press conferences. And a few New Yorkers have showed their admiration for Cuomo in the form of parody videos.
You bring hope when I can't cope. I guess I'm saying I love you so.
That was YouTuber and native New Yorker Randy Rainbow with his spin on Sandy, performed by John Travolta in Grease. And I got a chance to catch up with Randy to talk to him about what inspired him to make the video.
It just came from the heart because, like most New Yorkers, I think, and many people around the world, I find myself just falling in love with him. I think it's because we have such a thirst and an appreciation for what he's giving us these days, which is leadership and guidance and civility and compassion and tight polo shirts at a time when I think we're craving it, and I won't say why.
And another person having some fun with the pressers is Missy Modell with her take on a Britney Spears hit. Modell, also originally from New York, she moved back from LA just recently before the outbreak, and I asked her about her love for Governor Cuomo.
My love for Cuomo has really become like my way of feeling anchored to the city. He's truly the voice of reason and the only person that's actually making me feel okay and safe in this situation. So that took a bit of a comedic role amongst my friends. I'd be like, oh my God, he's like kind of amazing. He's kind of cute.
Well, in 48 hours, Modell wrote the parody song and recorded it in the comfort of her own apartment. But it's not all fun and games. Some people actually have to work from home. Crystal Young is here with some tips to make your workday a little bit more comfortable. Crystal, we're doing our social distancing here.
Yes, we are, and I think it's working. Well, I can tell you that if you found yourself working at home without a home office, you are not alone, but there are some things that you can do so that it isn't literally a pain in the neck.
It starts with the feet. You want your feet flat on the ground at a 90-degree angle. You want your chair at a level so that your knees are at a 90-degree angle. You want to be sitting in a comfortable chair that has a good cushion under your rear, as well as good lumbar support. People who are complaining of neck and back pain, recently working from home, they have setups that put their neck or back in sort of an awkward position, and they end up spending hours in that awkward position.
So I asked Dr. Charla Fisher, an orthopedic surgeon at NYU Langone Spine Center, to evaluate the at-home work area of 4 different people.
I like how Liz is sitting with her feet flat on the ground. Her knees and hips are at a 90-degree angle. Her back is nice and straight and well supported. I would add a cushion under her chair. I would like to see her keyboard more at lap level and using a separate monitor at eye level. The only issue I see is that her hands are a little elevated and she's looking down just a little bit. So I'm not a fan of people using an elevated chair like a counter seat or a bar stool. Ideally, their feet are going to be flat on the ground. The monitor is off to the side. And so as you can see, she's slightly twisting at the waist and slightly turning her head. So those 2 areas could cause her some pain. So what I would recommend is that she moves the monitor directly in front of her. So Nathan has a good setup in that he has a nice dining chair, a good table to work on with lots of room. His feet can be flat on the ground. It looks like they're crossed a little bit. He's got nice cushion under his seat, and the chair is well supporting his back. He could add a little lumbar cushion under his lower back if he's getting some pain in that area.
And then there's Joe, who has the most unique setup of all. He created his own table using an old door and 2 chairs.
It seems to be working for him because his feet are flat on the floor. His knees are at 90 degrees, or can be. He's sitting on a good, comfortable seat. His hips are at 90 degrees. His back is well supported. I would just move the monitor directly in front of him so that he's not having to look off to the side.
Dr. Fisher also points out this is the perfect time to use those teledoc services where you can actually just sit on your couch and talk to a doctor. I tried it a couple of weeks ago, thought it was super simple.
All right, thanks so much, Crystal. We'll have more from Crystal coming up in just a little bit, and that is so important, keeping your social distance while staying healthy.
Coming up, how couples are tying the knot through the pandemic. And one world-renowned fashion designer pitching in to make medical masks for our healthcare heroes.
Well, that's Long Island's take on We Are the World. Adam and Kristen Seeley from Farmingdale, they rounded up 70 artists across the island to perform, and everybody worked virtually from their own homes to record their parts. And the Seeleys say that their intention is to bring a little bit of musical joy to the current reality and to showcase how much talent there is on Long Island, and that video certainly shows that. But unfortunately for many musicians, they're out of work right now, some usually relying on gigs from events and weddings. And actually, according to the Knot, there were 845,000 weddings scheduled in the U.S. from March to May. Most of those couples had to call an audible on their big day.
We were supposed to be married April 4th in Kauai.
I cried every time we called every vendor.
I was probably crying for the first 3 or 4 days.
Brides and grooms of all walks of life have had to put one of the biggest days of their life on hold.
This year in 2020, we have weddings in the Southamptons, New York City, Westchester County, and they've all obviously been impacted already in very different ways.
Tri-State events planner Lisa Antonecchia says that some couples are opting to still legally get married on their scheduled wedding day.
We're hoping and praying that, we can go to town hall, and if not, we have family members and friends that are ordained.
way, one way or another, we're going to get married.
Danielle and Peter have been able to lock in a new date, but not until 2021.
Take it day by day and breathe. It's okay.
Jessica from Long Island, along with her fiance Andrew, are also shifting plans for their big day in East Meadow.
We're paying the same across the board, but there was no penalties. We just picked a new date.
But like just about every other industry, the outbreak is making a financial impact on the vendors.
Most people in the event community are sole proprietors. They make their own money, they work for themselves, and they hire a big workforce throughout the event timeline.
This goes for DJs, bands, florists, and caterers. Chef Plum is a private chef in Manhattan in the Hamptons.
So it's really tough to see these guys who are really, really talented people in their craft kind of not have something to go back to. But I tell you what's really come together for it is, it's amazing to see, Ryan, is how many of these chefs have come together to help other people, to come together to make food for first responders and things like that. It's really been uplifting to see at such a bad time.
The resounding advice to brides, grooms, and yes, their families too: keep calm and keep in close contact with your vendors.
How can we reschedule these events? And we want to postpone them. That is our goal. When can we get them back on a calendar so that we can have these glorious events for these people at the other end of this?
Well, Broadway is also looking to get back on its feet, but in the meantime, there are still some ways you can get your musical fix. That's because the virtual opening of Pride and Prejudice drew 150,000 viewers on streamingmusicals.com, and also Andrew Lloyd Webber's YouTube channel called The Shows Must Go On. You can find full-length musicals available for 48 hours, and one of those shows is Webber's iconic Phantom of the Opera.
Coming up, Crystal Young shows us the right way to sanitize. Plus, fun and unique ways you can throw a kid's birthday party while keeping your social distance.
Well, it has become a very familiar sound here in New York, clapping because we care. Every single night at 7 o'clock, people making some noise in support of our healthcare heroes. It's been a daily glimmer of hope, reminder of community, and that everyone is working so hard on the front lines. And we've seen such an outpouring of support for those doctors, nurses, and first responders, from food deliveries to even people making masks.
Yesterday, we coordinated the drop-off to Long Island Community Hospital.
Zainab Khan Loftus's husband is a doctor at the hospital, and after hearing of a mask shortage, she took matters into her own hands and reached out to renowned designer Naeem Khan. Khan, who is best known for dressing some of the world's biggest celebrities and creating lavish wedding dresses, he put his team to work to craft protective masks for frontline workers.
My sweet girls were like, so ready to help make these things.
And in one day, each of his seamstresses can make around 30 masks.
It took me a while to design these things. I didn't want to have the regular pattern. So there is a layer. So there are 2 layers, and within the layer, you can actually put a filter in there. And this way you can use your filter for much longer time. When I say a filter, I mean a surgical mask.
Yeah.
You take your standard surgical mask, vary it between the 2 cloths, and you can use it for, I think, a couple of days rather than, and you can wash it.
Khan and his team have crafted over 2,000 masks for various local hospitals.
And even the nurses, too, when they put it on, they're like, wow, this is comfortable, and it fits so perfect.
Normally planning every detail of an ornate gown, Khan has made it his duty to serve the doctors, nurses, and first responders.
It's an honor to be there for the community and for our hospitals who are in the forefront fighting this crazy battle that we are in right now.
And since he has started, Naeem Khan has donated over 5,000 masks to local hospitals. And something else that people are making beyond masks, hand sanitizer. And it's easy to make, but you might have trouble finding the ingredients. You're going to need 3/4 a cup of rubbing alcohol, a 1/4 cup of aloe vera gel to keep your hands nice and smooth, and if you want, a few drops of essential oils to add scent. The key is to whisk the solution together to turn it into gel. But whether you're making it on your own or finding it in the store, Crystal Young is here with some ways to properly sanitize. Crystal, I've been Lysoling my Lysol as of late.
That's one way to do it, Mr. Clean, but I will acknowledge that with all this information coming at us fast and furious about coronavirus, it's hard to know exactly what to do when it comes to cleaning and sanitizing, but I've got tips from the experts.
Now more than ever, we're cleaning and disinfecting. But are we doing it right? Armed with good products and information, you can keep the coronavirus from entering your home.
One of the biggest questions I hear is, what about when we come in from outdoors? And what I recommend is, if you can, take your shoes off before you're entering the home. because we don't know exactly what we're picking up when we're outside. So it's just a good practice to do anyway, because so many toxins and contaminants and possibly these germs can come in at the same time.
And clean often.
Your light switches, your faucet, your sink, tabletops and countertops that are most used, make sure you're doing those several times a day.
Brian Sansoni from the American Cleaning Institute favors wiping away germs as opposed to moving them around in a circular motion.
Your best bet is for different surfaces, use a different wipe. That way, you're effectively killing germs or viruses on all of those surfaces.
And be liberal with your wipes. Don't use one wipe to clean 10 things. It's also important to let the product air dry, in some cases up to 4 or 5 minutes. Don't wipe away the residue before it gets a chance to disinfect. If you don't have any at all, you still have options.
You can use rubbing alcohol and just let it sit for 1 or 2 minutes. And you can also put hydrogen peroxide in a spray bottle and spray down the surface and leave that for a minimum of 10 minutes.
Bleach is an outstanding disinfectant. It's just important that you dilute it properly per the product label directions.
One of the good things actually about this virus is it's considered a protein, an envelope protein. So that means it's relatively easy to break down. And you can do that actually with soap and water. And the reason that works is because the fatty substances in soap actually helps to break down that lipid membrane that surrounds the virus.
The Environmental Protection Agency continues to update a list of products that can be effective against the novel coronavirus. They've been updating that over the course of the last month. We have that list on our website, cleaninginstitute.org/coronavirus.
No matter what you use to clean and disinfect, the experts all agree you should be thorough and consistent.
One more piece of advice, as basic as it sounds, open a window. It seems as though it lets germs in, but it actually lets them out. So there you have it.
Very interesting. Thanks, Crystal. And another thing you can air out, your shoes, your clothes, keep them outside.
Yes, you got it.
All right.
Leave them by the front door for a while. If not, wash them right away.
All right, Crystal, thank you so much. Some great tips.
Coming up, how you and your family can safely throw birthday parties for kids. Plus, a unique way to explore some of New York City's most interesting museums.
By now, you're probably tired of watching movies and binge-watching TV shows, so check out a museum. Many are offering virtual tours online, just like the Guggenheim right here in New York City. All you got to do is go to Guggenheim.org, and you'll be able to use Google Street View to explore the museum's famous spiral staircase from the comfort of your own home. You'll find Impressionist, Post-Impressionist, modern, and contemporary art, so a little something for everybody. All right, parents, listen up. As if homeschooling hasn't been stressful enough for you guys, try throwing in a birthday party on top of that. Fortunately, there are some ways to do it without disappointing your kids.
I'm the oldest, I'm the second, and then I'm the youngest.
Just turning 10, the Stricker triplets, Ella, Tori, and Dylan, were set to party it up with their friends, but then Mom Regina quickly changed those plans after hearing concerns of COVID-19.
I feel bad for the children, especially when I gave them the news yesterday that we had to postpone their birthday for a third time.
We're pretty sad about that.
Charlotte Smith is a busy mom, blogger, and DIY extraordinaire, and she's sharing some fun and easy ways to celebrate while staying safe.
These are definitely for smaller kids. So one idea that I thought would be really fun is if you were to organize some of your children's friends, and if everyone dressed up in a costume, and then there are so many ways to connect through video nowadays, so being able to see their friends dress up is another thing that I thought would be fun.
Charlotte also recommends trying a birthday scavenger hunt or checklist.
Maybe we'll make ice cream sundaes. Maybe we'll go out in our backyard and look for frogs. Maybe we will FaceTime with grandparents.
And here's an idea you might have seen online already.
They will organize friends to sort of drive by the birthday person's house with signs, playing music, and it is such a fun way to celebrate each other.
This next idea, you just start by decorating a poster.
And then cut it into pieces. And you're gonna mail these pieces to friends and family. And essentially you're turning them into postcards, and he's gonna get all of these different puzzle pieces in the mail. And then on his birthday, he can put them all together, and they're gonna make that message that you created for them.
And this one sounds yummy. You just need food coloring and sprinkles.
Rainbow toast You literally add food coloring to milk, and then you paint it onto your white bread, and then you toast it, and it's just like regular toast. Obviously, it's food safe. And then we added sprinkles to it. We may not even need a birthday to celebrate, quite honestly. We may just have rainbow breakfast tomorrow.
But we're all getting used to a new way of celebrating, a new normal. And to all the people working tirelessly on the front lines, we say thank you. And if you're staying home, just remember that you're also doing your part and that we're in this together. I'm Ryan Christopher, and I'll see you on Good Day New York. Thanks for watching.